Welcome to ULV on this fine sunny day, almost. A little later today, it'll be a fine sunny day. Once again, we need both, the rain and the sun. Let's open today. We're going to be talking about freedom. And other than air, the most free thing on the planet is water. So if you'll rise where you're able, and we'll sing our opening song, Water. I've seen my share of struggle when I thought that I knew best, when I've sailed through the storms instead of stopping to rest. And it always seems the hardest when I've made up my stubborn mind. Well, I'm changing my ways this time. I want to be like water coming down the mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. I want to be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Have you ever seen an eagle head straight into the wind? He doesn't pick a fight, spreads his wings and just gives in. And in the end he always makes it home just fine. I guess he knows that every storm subsides. I want to be like water coming down the mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. I want to be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. I let nature take its course. No more thinking that I know where this river's meant to go. I've railed against the stars for the cards that I've been dealt, for the lottery I've never won, for the heartache that I've felt. But it always seems when I let go of expectation and regret, life has plenty of surprises for me yet. I want to be like water coming down the mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. I want to be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. I want to be like water coming down the mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. I want to be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Please be seated.
Good morning. My name is Terry O'Malley, and I'm today's prayer chaplain. So let's take a minute, let's take a breath, and place ourselves in God's holy presence. Surrounded by God's love, let us acknowledge our oneness. As we worship together this morning here and online, may our time together be blessed. Amen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to everybody here in person and joining us online, and welcome to Unity of Lehigh Valley. My name is Eva, and today I have the pleasure of assisting Reverend Ron Karstetter and our music leader, Mark Udemoser. We appreciate each one of you and want to ensure that you have a wonderful experience here at ULV. To our friends online, thank you so much for tuning in, and if you feel led to, please share this message with others, and at the end of the service, let us know if there's anything we can do to make your experience better. Today, I see very many familiar faces and those whom I've grown to love and cherish. Thank you for your presence here today and for creating a safe and welcoming environment here at ULV. I'm excited because I also see a couple of faces I haven't seen in a while and some newer faces that have come back, and we appreciate your presence here in the sanctuary. We welcome and affirm that this will be a time of blessing for you. Our statements of affirmation: our lives are made up of many steps and many choices, but our journey is also shaped by the things we choose to believe and to say out loud. Our affirmative statements express our beliefs as well as the vision and mission of Unity of Lehigh Valley. I invite those here in the sanctuary and those online to join me as we speak these statements out loud. Together we affirm, there is only one presence, one power, one activity in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence. We co-create an awakened world of peace, harmony, and abundance. United in love, we provide a positive environment for all people to discover and express their spiritual nature. Yes, we do. For October, spiritual growth is the core value we celebrate. Trusting the wisdom within each one, our paths unfold and lead us to accept a deeper understanding of the powerful love that we are. We have several pieces of community news to share. First, please join us today, directly after service, for our quarterly community dialogue meeting. This is an in-person only meeting and an opportunity for some community updates and to share your thoughts on all things ULV. Next Saturday, November the 4th, Reverend Julie Vance will be leading a class entitled Trusting Your Inner Spirit from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. In this class, you will learn to discover how to recognize the voice of your inner spirit, learn to release obstacles to following your inner spirit's guidance, and experience simple, practical ways to connect more deeply with your inner spirit. The suggested love offering is $35, and registration is now open on Eventbrite on our website, on the classes and events page, or on the sign-up sheet in the back of the sanctuary. Our fall calendar is continuing to fill up. Please sign up for our weekly emails and regularly check the calendar and class and events page on our website for a complete listing of meetings, classes, and events. For those seeking prayer, we now have a prayer chaplain each Sunday in the service. Today, that prayer chaplain is in sacred service is Terry O'Malley, who led our opening prayer, and she will be available to pray with you one-on-one immediately after the service. You can also submit prayer requests through the prayer request form on our website. You may also place your prayer requests in the prayer box at the back of the sanctuary. Our prayer partners at Silent Unity are available to pray with you 24/7 at 1-800-NOW-PRAY. You can also submit that prayer request by using Unity's Be Unity app. As we continue to search for a new music director, we invite you to hold this affirmation. Please say it with me together. Filled with a spirit of divine love and wisdom, we are guided and directed in our thoughts, our words, and our actions in faith, giving thanks that the right music director, who brings harmony and inspiration through the gift of music, is drawn to us with grace and ease for the highest good of this ministry. So it is.
And now the interim music leader will ask you to rise again. This is my favorite affirmation, by the way. And we'll sing our congregational song, Love is My Decision. Hopefully I have selected it. There we go. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
And now our daily word reader is Marietta Lee.
Daily word for today, Sunday, October 29th, is imagination. And our affirmation is, I imagine and create my most magnificent life. So let's affirm together. I imagine and create my most magnificent life. I admire the storyteller's gift for creating fantastic worlds where impossible things happen. I immerse myself in the story, allowing myself to feel the wonder, the exhilaration, and even the sadness the storyteller's imagination has created. No matter how scary the story, there is nothing to fear. It is only a story. My imagination helps me create my life story. Guided by divine wisdom and will, I imagine a positive, meaningful life. If disturbing thoughts cloud my imagination, I remember I am God's living expression. There is nothing to fear. My spiritual gifts of faith, love, strength, and understanding join with my imagination to build the fulfilling life my heart desires. I pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. Joel 2:28.
Well, this old man is dreaming a dream of brave faith, and so I will now sing that for you. Brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith. Let me dance you up. Brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith, brave faith. What we need is, what we need is great faith, great faith. Let us love, let us live each day with great faith, great faith. Sometimes we are slow to trust, wisdom hidden deep in us. Fear of failure keeps us down. What we all could use right now is great faith, great faith. Let us love, let us live each day with great faith, great faith. One day we can all look back at turning points along our path. That's when we will point with pride at each good choice, guided by brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith, 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 brave faith.
Thank you, Mark. Well, that is your message and homework. I think we're done. Now, let's take another moment to center ourselves, holding on to that message that Mark just shared. Let's drop into stillness, into our center, and make a heart connection with the divine. Within our ULV community, I am aware that we each carry with us many joys and sorrows, and prayers for health and well-being of body, mind, and spirit for both ourselves and for those we love. Also on my heart today are the people of the Middle East, Israel and Palestine, caught up in a war in which no one is really the winner. I'm also reminded of the people of Lewiston, Maine, and all those across this country impacted by gun violence. So I invite you to join me in holding these prayers in the light, along with any other prayers you would like to give voice to now. And any other prayers that remain in the silence of your hearts. And in this heart-centered moment, we affirm that in the midst of our life experience and the facts of the day, that there is one presence and one power, a love, a goodness, and a peace at the center of all of life that is mightier than circumstance. And we know that when we join our minds and hearts as one around a prayer request, our collective love and intentionality shifts energy, raises the vibration, and shines light into the dark corners of the world, even as we speak this prayer. And so with this knowing, we release these prayers into God, into love, into the law, even as we affirm, God is my all. I know no fear. For God and love and truth are here. And so it is. Amen. So today we are wrapping up our fall series based on the book Trusting the Gold, Uncovering Your Natural Goodness by Tara Brach. We've had some really wonderful discussions on the material in our Wednesday and Thursday evening small groups, even as I realized that we have been doing some deep dives into this material and really only scratching the surface. We've been exploring themes of truth and love and freedom, as Brach explains them from a Buddhist perspective as three essential pathways of awakening who we truly are. Opening to the truth of the present moment, turning toward love in any situation, and resting in the freedom of non-judgmental awareness. Brach writes that even in the midst of suffering, we can pause and behold the basic goodness that shines through us, and recognizing our inherent goodness in ourselves and all others, and in fact at the core of all of life, regardless of appearances. She writes that this recognition may be the most radical act we can take and create space for us to fall in love with life, all of life. I also appreciate seeing where these Buddhist teachings overlap with our unity teaching, and there are many overlaps because the teaching is universal. It's pointing us back to oneness. Perhaps different words and definitions and guiding tenets and spiritual practices, but all pointing us home. Home, which is that place within us where we know that we are one with the one. Brach describes our true home as the space within our bodies and the space that fills the universe as one continuous space, filled with the light of awareness. No inside, no outside, no self, no other. This boundless, undivided space of awareness with its infinite expressions of aliveness is our true home. And we are already home. Could I have the next slide, please? Or as A Course in Miracles puts it, can you be separated from your life and your being? No. The journey to God is merely the reawakening of the knowledge of where you are always and what you are forever. It is a journey without distance to a goal that has never changed. Truth can only be experienced. It cannot be described and it cannot be explained. I can make you aware of the conditions of truth, but the experience is of God. Together we can meet its conditions, but truth will dawn upon us of itself. And so a summary of these three themes: truth, which involves differentiating between what is real but not true, and seeing through the illusion of labels we often quickly place on other people or situations after only a surface-level observation of appearances. A really important point which I'll touch on later. And then love. As we connect with our natural goodness, as we walk in alignment with Spirit, we open to a heart-centered experience of that timeless essence, that loving awareness, that goodness that is the ground of our being and of all life. And finally, freedom, which Brach writes is ours as we live our truth in love. And as we live our truth in love, as we do the inner work of letting go of any masks that hide our true nature, we create an opening for true happiness. And so, true happiness. Brach writes in Buddhist teaching there are two kinds of happiness. One arises when life is the way we want it. Beautiful weather, loving and harmonious relationships, accomplishments at work, our bodies feeling good. This kind of happiness is dependent on things going our way. The other kind, happiness for no reason, doesn't depend on what is happening in our life, but rather is the freedom of the heart when we are unconditionally present, resting in an awake, open awareness. No matter what is going on, we basically sense that all is well. On the spiritual path, one of our greatest illusions is that we are on our way to being wiser and more loving, and that this will only happen sometime in the future, after we have done the right practices, after we have found the right teacher, after we have read the right books. Brock writes, though, in truth, the loving awareness we long for is not outside ourselves, not down the road and somewhere else. It is the essence of who we already are. No matter how far we may wander, no matter how intensely we may search, the awakened, tender awareness we are seeking is already within us, a half-breath of remembrance away. This essence of our being can be realized at any time when we arrive in the stillness of full presence. Our habitual assumption, though, is that we are not prepared to handle what's around the corner. What if, instead of tensing against the future, we assume that our heart is ready and available for however this uncontrollable life unfolds? When our hearts are ready for anything, we are free to love without holding back, and free to live from the creative and boundless awareness of our true nature. Our entanglement in thoughts and beliefs about ourselves, those around us, and the world makes it impossible to be where we are. In his book, After the Ecstasy, The Laundry, Jack Kornfield writes, "It's like the Zen painter who finished a life-size portrait of a tiger on the wall of his dwelling. Returning home lost in thought some days later, he was frightened when suddenly seeing the tiger there, having forgotten that it was his own creation." As we begin to quiet our minds through meditation or prayer, we see how much of our life is governed by these unconscious stories. We begin to see the themes of our inner dialogue, which can be ambition or unworthiness, insecurity or hope, self-hatred or self-improvement. These stories reflect our conditioning, personal and cultural. And central to these stories we tell are the beliefs we have about ourselves. Kornfield writes, "It's as if we have been cast into a movie as the depressed person or the beautiful one, as a compromiser or a clown, an angry victim or a fighter whom no one will ever take advantage of again." And because those thoughts or assumptions are so powerful and sometimes embedded or unconscious, we live out their energies over and over. These patterns of thought, together with the contractions of our body and heart, create a limited sense of self, sometimes called the body of fear. When we live from the body of fear, our life is simply one of habit and reaction. Kornfield, like Brock, writes that an honorable practice unmasks these stories and releases their limiting belief, just as it opens the body and heart. We begin to recognize the patterns of these contractions and to learn that they are not the most fundamental reality. They are not our most fundamental reality. We learn to step from these old skins or old masks, the small sense of self, into the reality of the present moment and an acknowledgement of our true nature. We find ways to allow the body to relax, the heart to soften, and the old stories of the mind to fall away. Kornfield writes that with innocence and openness, we return to the simplicity of direct experience, or of the divine present and active in every aspect of life, inviting us to pause in the midst of the limiting narratives we have identified with, and to breathe, to center in truth into a deeper knowing of Godness, the divine source, a field of infinite potentiality, the kingdom of heaven, here and not yet here, awakened and still unfolding at the very point of us. When we step out of the current old thoughts, letting go of how it was or how it should be, or how we should be, or how I think you should be, or the world should be, When we step outside that current of thoughts, we enter the eternal present, which is still only a preparation for a deeper journey into awakened awareness of all that is holy and true. These moments of awakening or enlightenment are only the beginning, though. We can't cling to them as our new identity. We have to get back down into the messy busyness of life, to engage life from this new awareness over and over again, to integrate what we have learned. Only then can we learn perfect trust, or as Brock writes, loving life no matter what, with a heart that is ready for anything. Or as Cornfield writes, after the ecstasy, the laundry. This spiritual journey is not a once and for all game. It is a process. Can I have the next slide, please? In the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verses 1 through 8, there's a story of Jesus' encounter with a Pharisee named Nicodemus, a leader of the Jews who came to Jesus at night and said to him, "Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher who has come from God, for no one can do these signs that you do apart from the presence of God." Jesus answered him, "Very true, I tell you, no one can see the kingdom of God without being born from above." Nicodemus said to him, "How can anyone be born after having grown old? Can one enter a second time into the mother's womb and be reborn?" Jesus answered, "No one can enter the kingdom of heaven without being born of water and spirit. What is born of flesh is flesh, and what is born of spirit is spirit. Do not be astonished that I say to you, you must be born again from above. The wind blows where it will, and you hear the sound of it, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone who is born of the Spirit." The Bible was Unity co-founder Myrtle and Charles Fillmore's primary textbook. Metaphysically, they saw it as the story of the soul's evolution, and all the people, places, and events detailed in the Bible as levels of consciousness. And so one of our key spiritual practices in Unity that goes back to the Fillmores is metaphysical Bible interpretation, which is one particular lens for reading and understanding the Bible as the story of our soul's unfoldment. Metaphysically, Charles Fillmore interpreted Nicodemus as a popular idea of religion dominant in the consciousness. Nicodemus is pictured as a Pharisee who represents the Pharisaical side of our mind, which observes the external forms of religion without understanding their real meaning, or one who believes in the strict letter of the law but lacks an understanding of the spirit of the law or of truth. But also one who, like the man Nicodemus, through faithful observance of the letter of the law, becomes aware of the presence of divine power, the spirit of the law, and is open to explore it, even if it can be done safely. So Jesus is here speaking to Nicodemus, who is confused about what Jesus means when he talks about being born again. Jesus explains that it isn't a literal rebirth, but a return to source. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the spirit is spirit. In other words, the rebirth is a surrender of human demands and limitations, and a return to oneness with spirit that is our true source and identity. This surrender can't be defined or justified to our mortal mind any more than the people of the time could defend the wind, except by feeling its effects as it passed. When we are born of the Spirit, we express as the wind expresses, open to the movement of Spirit in and through our lives. So back to Fillmore's interpretation of Nicodemus as a level of consciousness willing to consider a higher understanding of truth, if it can be done safely. The word safely is key here in Fillmore's definition because safety is relative. This good news of Christ in you, your hope of glory, is so counter to our human conditioning and the masks that we wear that it requires us to think outside of the box. So it may not at all feel safe, as our lower vibrational consciousness is challenged to expand. But Brock reminds us that beyond the ego, there is a tenderness at our core that gently invites us to lean into a more expansive understanding of who and what we are. Can I have the next slide, please? Spiritual awakening is a process of undoing our habitual reactions, letting go of any limiting beliefs or thoughts. And by this undoing, we allow the natural intelligence and love that is our true nature to flow freely through us. One of Charles Fillmore's often used affirmations was, "Be through me." So breathe into that for a moment. Be through me. God, love, life, allness, be through me. Continue to lean into that and open to that. In her book, What Are You?, Unity Minister Octavia Shanklin wrote, "Spiritually, what are you? You are a soul that has forgotten its divine identity, a soul now struggling to remember in the midst of time and in the confusion of experiences that you are the living child of the living God. And regardless of what masks you have taken on to protect yourself, to hide your light or your inner gold, Shanklin writes that the supreme power with which you are cooperating with is never defeated. Your supreme objective is to let that power function in you. Any objective is attainable, but only the supreme objective is worthy of your aspiration and endeavor." Shanklin writes that all objectives less glorious than the supreme objective will dim and cease. The night of forgetfulness will pass. There will be a dawn in your consciousness. The glory of that perfection which never deserted you, which waited while you wasted, which called you while you slept. To grasp that glory in mind and soul and in body, to have and to hold its beauty and its peace, will become your final objective. And to the attainment of this supreme objective, as you live more authentically from your center, your inner gold, which is God, you will find divine aid and comfort and an eternity of space and grace to support your expansion beyond any limited sense of self. God in, through, and as us is our inspiration, our way, our strength. God brings us home to itself, which is our true self, our inner gold. In the final reflection of Trusting the Gold, Brock writes, "During my early years of spiritual practice, I sometimes found myself wondering which was deeper, my longing to know truth or my longing to experience love. Which one was guiding and energizing my path the most? Deep down, I knew it wasn't an either or, but I'd swing between an intense yearning to dissolve into boundless loving presence and an equally compelling urge to know truth, the nature of reality." She writes that over the years it became increasingly clear that truth and love are intertwined. They are aspects of that one reality, truth reflected through the mind and love through the heart. Together they express the freedom of our awakening spirit. Next slide, please. And so circling back to this intention which Brock shares in her intro to the book, I invite you to join me as we have done each week during this series in reciting this together as we continue to grow, to lean into this teaching, to support one another in our awakening and our stepping into our greater knowing of ourselves. So together, may we trust and live from the purity of our boundless, radiant heart. And may we hold hands as we awaken together, bringing our shared caring to this precious, troubled, mysterious, and beautiful world. Breathe into that for a moment. And with that, let's move into a time of meditation to integrate some of these words, these many words. And we begin with the song, "Only Believe."
Just join with me where you are. Only believe, only believe, all things are possible. Only believe.
a deep and intentional community breath, allowing the breath to draw us into stillness in this time of meditation. We're invited to step apart for a while in each of our services to become aware in this sacred now moment of the divine. And so I invite you to gently close your eyes, your outer eyes, if that's comfortable, or to lower and soften your gaze, to relax into your seat, feeling your feet grounded into the energy of the earth. Our journey inward begins with relaxation and letting go. And so begin by noticing anywhere in your body where you are holding tension. And gently and lovingly release it. And the same with any thoughts in your mind, thoughts of before or after, being fully present here and now, and allowing the thoughts to gently drift by. Together we take a deep, heart-centered breath. And with each inhale and exhale, we go deeper and enter into stillness. We center into our heart space, the secret place of the Most High. We center in an awareness of our oneness with the allness of God. And in this heart space, we connect with our Christ nature, the consciousness of I am, which is our truth. When we come to think and feel this truth, when we come to believe it clear through with our mind and our heart, our reason and our hope, when we know it not as a glimpse of something longed for, but as the very substance and reality of what we are, then our world will take on the shape love and intelligence gave it, when love and intelligence made it and saw that it was good. And so know this with me. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am. I am. I am. Together we breathe deeply into this truth as we rest for a moment in this sacred silence. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. In that awareness, we take a deep community breath and gently bring our attention back to this sacred time and space. And as we do so, we bring all the peace, all the balance, all the love that exists in the silence into each moment, simply allowing it to pave the way before us. Practicing remembrance of the truth that sets us free, the truth of our divine nature. And remembering this truth, we know that we have all the faith, all the strength, all the love to live our lives fully and authentically. In this awareness, we dedicate this practice to the expansion of consciousness on the planet. By the power of this practice, may all beings know God as love, and themselves as radiant expressions of that love, and their neighbors as well as expressions of this love unfolding. Breathe into and know this truth with me, and let it be through you. And as you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes to the gift of this new day. And so it is. Namaste.
We are grateful for the offerings and the gifts you bring to Unity of Lehigh Valley. At our website, unityoflehighvalley.org, you can contribute by clicking on the donate button on the top of the navigation bar. You can also send a check to Unity of Lehigh Valley or set up a weekly or monthly contribution directly from your bank. For those of you here in the sanctuary, please leave your offering in the silver bowl at the back of the sanctuary. If you have any questions about donating, please contact ULV by phone or email. We bless our gifts by affirming together, the activity of Spirit through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Terry?
This is our prayer box that we have at Unity of Lehigh Valley, and the prayer requests that are in here will be sent to the prayer chaplain team, and then will be forwarded out to Silent Unity and be prayed over for another 30 days. So I would ask you to just take a minute and join your energy with me and bless these prayer requests and give thanks for answered prayer.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you all for joining us today in sacred service here and for helping to co-create this sacred space. We end our gathering with gratitude for this beloved community, for our shared wisdom, goodwill, and support that we extend to each other within this community. May we continue to bless each other with these gifts, and may we reflect these blessings back out into the world as we go back into our lives and minister as the light of the world to those we encounter this week until we are back together again. Amen.
And now if you'll rise one last time and form our ever-increasing circle around the sanctuary. light of God surrounds us. The love of God unfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.